Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome back the legendary motorcycling icon of our times in India. This is the Yezdi, which is making a comeback in the Indian market. Yes, it is being brought up by the same guys who bought us the Java, Classic Legends. And Classic Legends has taken up a huge task of reviving the Yezdi. The Java back in the day became Yezdi, but now Java and Yezdi are going to coexist together. They're being sold from the same showroom, which were the Java showrooms. As we know right now will be Java and Yezdi showrooms, and they will show brand new 3 motorcycles from the Yezdi range, which is the Adventure, the Scrambler and the Roadster. Yezdi is coming back, and since Classic Legend is being bringing back, they have done some mistakes in the past, and with the Java brand, for what they expected it to be, did not actually quite happen in the coming days after the initial launch. Well, Java did come back in multiple ways, and they are doing good numbers, but of course they are not up to the mark, and quite low than most modern motorcycles in the niche space, and definitely far away from Royal Enfield. What Yezdi plans to do is bring up a lot of excitement in this category, because these 3 motorcycles are the hype right now. People want motorcycles like this, a retro motorcycle that looks great, retro motorcycle that all has all the modern amenities, and at the same time it looks great and it performs really well and it delivers on every modern aspect of the Yezdi brand and the retro charm that every retro motorcycle has to bring along with it. Like Yezdi says, not for the faint-hearted. I believe that came from within themselves, because it is not easy to bring a brand like that. We have ridden Yezdis over the past, and we've recently ridden the Yezdi just a couple of years ago, and we have very fresh memories of what the Yezdi is all about. Well, we'll be riding it and letting you know more about it, but now we only have the option to see the motorcycle through a video and tell you what the Yezdi motorcycles are all about. Like I said, the Yezdi has 3 motorcycles: Adventure, Scrambler and Roadster, and these are very distinct motorcycles from each other. Classic Legends is saying that these motorcycles are very different from each other. There's a lot of change, but there are common things in between, and the major common thing is the heart, the engine. The 334cc that is taken from the Java flagship, which is the Barak, is being used in all 3 motorcycles, but all 3 motorcycles have a different tune. So let's jump on the Adventure first. What I can see in front of me right now is the Adventure spec sheet, and like I said, it has the 334cc engine, but in the highest tune of the trio. So it's making 30.2 PS of power and 29.9 Newton meters of torque. We don't have where the RPM is on these on the torque and power. Surprisingly, Yezdi is not mentioned that in the spec sheet, but what we can tell you is that there is a 21-inch wheel at the front and a 17-inch wheel at the back. That says the fact that is going to be a very focused off-roading motorcycle, because it also has long travel suspension, and we assume it is around the 200 mm mark at the front and around 160 at the back, which is also not mentioned in the specification list. What is mentioned is the fact that you have a very high ground clearance of 220 mm, the seat height is a very approachable 815 mm, and the weight is at 188 kgs, and the tank capacity also is the biggest of the trio at 15.5 liters. Looking at the motorcycle, what you can see is it does look a lot like the Himalayan, but of course it's got its own trade, because the Yezdi tank design is very distinct, very unique, and that's the only thing that's going to set it apart. Everything else does look like the Himalayan, which it primarily is going to target against at, and you've got a very good design. And I was actually looking at these motorcycles in their last testing phase a week ago, and what I saw on the highway is the fact that these are very good motorcycles. These have a lot of road presence, and they are going to strike a right chord with the audience, with the round headlight, the jerry cans, and what you're seeing right now is panniers and everything else on the bike. And what we also have, of course, is the pricing of the Adventure. So the pricing for the Adventure begins at 2.9. Let's assume that is 2.10, and then there is 2.12, and then there is 2.19. These are for different colors for now, and there will be varianting. There will be a lot of accessories on offer as well, so we'll have to wait for that. Now let's go to the Scrambler, what looks like the not the cheapest of the trio, but the most approachable, the most slightly more simple motorcycle of the trio. Same engine, but this makes 29 PS of power and 28.2 Nm of torque. We have RPM here. It is at 8,000 RPM and the torque comes at 6,750 RPM. So that is something which shows the fact that it's going to be a mid-range focused motorcycle. 6-speed gearbox, 19-inch wheel at the front, 17-inch wheel at the back. 19-inch wheel at the front and 17-inch wheel at the back. But also this shows that it is going to have a trail riding capability, and it's got a slightly longer wheelbase. Ground clearance is a healthy 200 mm. Seat height is even lower at 800 mm. The weight is 182 kgs and the tank capacity is at 12.5 liters. So this is going to be somewhere between the Roadster and the Adventure. The prices start from 2.5 lakh rupees, 2.7 for the yellow color, and the olive color is going to start at 2.7 lakh rupees. So I think that's a very good pricing for the Adventure as well as the Scrambler. Let's quickly go to the Roadster, which I think is very much aimed at the Royal Enfield Meteor to a very large extent. And what we can see here is that it also gets the same engine, but it makes 29.7 PS of power and 29 Nm of torque, and it's got an 18-inch wheel at the front and 17-inch wheel at the back. 1440 mm longest wheelbase of the trio, 175 mm ground clearance, 790 mm of seat height, which is very good, 184 kilograms and 12.5 liters of fuel tank. So that's what you have on the Roadster, and I think these are good numbers. It makes it class leading when it comes to power and torque over its rivals, such as if you would compare it to the Highness as well, but I don't think you should. But inevitably you will. So this makes the Yezdi more premium, more powerful than all of its rival, and you've already seen what the instrument cluster is offering on these bikes. There's a very nice looking key, fit, finish, quality looks all right. For now we'll have to ride it and see it in person, how that feels like. And what we can also tell you is that the Adventure is going to get turn-by-turn navigation with the LCD screen, which is mounted like a Dakar bike at the top, and surprisingly it's adjustable as well. So if you're standing up and you can tilt it upwards and downwards, so that will be really helpful as well. ABS is also on offer with these motorcycles, and it has 3 switchable modes, which is road, rain and off-road, which should help the bikes to maneuver through these 3 types of terrains and weather. I think Yezdi is got a lot of things right. The engine from the flagship Java makes a lot of sense. They've chosen that, they've made some changes to it, and made sure, at least on paper right now, that these motorcycles will provide a different experience. It's not going to be the same thing. There is going to be a lot of changes between them in the way they feel and ride. So we'll let you know more about it, and I'm sure the visuals have helped you see what these motorcycles are all about. This is what we can tell you right now from behind the screen, and we'll let you know more once we ride more. And for now, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like, share this video, comment if you have some questions, and follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook for everyday updates. And I'll see you next time in the next video. Until then, goodbye.